Today's episode 129. We actually have a special guest, which maybe he'll be on camera or not, but who knows. Destry's going to talk about a cool story, something that happened to him this week, and I don't really know what I'm talking about yet. I'm going to kind of feel it out. Well, we may talk about the latest thing we did in the book of Maccabees this past week, or something else, who knows. But it's episode 129. I think it's going to be a lot of fun today.
Joshy?
Yes.
Things happen to me that, I don't know, they happen to other people, but it seems like something always happens a day. I could talk about stories all day. That could be my part of the podcast, and a lot of times it is. So
Mine is Bible stuff and spilling coffee on my shirt.
right.
Yeah.
Just in time for the podcast.
Right.
So we'll talk about our special guest real quick, and we'll take it from there, I guess. So, story, Donna and I went to Publix. We always go to Publix. But since she's been living with her mother, and her mother is ill right now, she just went into rehab, as a matter of fact. So, Donna is taking care of her. She's tired, but this is what she's been put on the earth to do. So that's what she's doing, and we don't live together. So we go to Publix. That's an event for us,
right?
You know what I mean? It's good. It's fun, Chris. We go to Publix and we go. I go regularly. She doesn't have to go. One of my jobs is to do things for her, so she doesn't have to do them.
Yes.
Right? I'm retired, so I try to I go get food that she doesn't have delivered to the house. All this stuff. So last Saturday, I think it was, we're coming out of Publix, and Donna's to my right, and I'm just thankful that we have this time together. Just walking, how other people just take it for granted, and we're together walking. I look over to the left for traffic. I look over to the right, I look over to the left again, and I see this walking across, in my opinion, one of the busiest places in town, Publix parking lot. I looked over, and every time I see a pet that's not accompanied by somebody, especially a dog, cat, you see cats out.
Yeah.
You go.
And Publix has a lot of cats around.
Publix does have a lot of cats around.
They're usually in that big stormwater pond.
Dogs, every time I see one, they're not with a caregiver, I go, man, it just pulls at me.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I look over to the left, and he was walking across where cars, one of the entrances where cars come in. It's kind of a blind entrance to an exit. I went, man, I can't watch. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. So in between the time that I saw him and the time we got to our car, I'm open the back of the car, the trunk, putting groceries in. I turn around. He's standing within 7 to 10 feet in the middle of the parking lot with cars going everywhere, sitting down looking at me.
Yeah.
And I kneel down and go, come here, puppy. He goes, rawr, 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 rawr. He backs up. Oh, okay. He's been out for a while. He's independent. I'm not going to, no call or nothing. That's cool. So I go on about my business again, and I turn around, and he's a little bit closer this time. He's sitting down looking at me. Donna's still back there with me putting groceries in. So we're done. He's looking at us. I close the trunk. He turns around and walks away.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's a smart dog, right? He knows that he's not going to get any food if the trunk is closed. I go, okay, he's walking away. Donna's in her car. I'm in my car because we met somewhere and then went to Publix together. So I get Donna in her car. I walk to mine. Donna's car, and where I saw the dog is behind me. I turn, open my door, get in. Whenever I opened my door to get in, sat down, he's sitting within 5 feet from me looking at me. And I go, and Donna can see everything happening, right? Donna can see everything happening. And she goes, and I do the same thing. I don't know. So I just said, all right, well, I'll give it one more shot. Chris, I'm sitting there. I got my hand on the steering wheel. Door's open. He's sitting 5 foot away from me looking at me. I go, come here. That little booger jumps right up in my lap, jumps in the car, in the passenger seat, lays down, looks at me and go, What's going on, man? And we have been apart for maybe 3 hours since that day.
Yeah.
Since that day. So this is our guest. This is
doesn't have a name yet.
doesn't have a name yet. Don and I are going through the process of getting a. Let me back up. I looked at him on the way home and said, "I'm going to find you a good home. I'll foster you. You won't have to sleep outside anymore. I have no idea what your story is, but you won't have to, you won't have to fend for your food anymore. I'll find you a foster home." And a word to the wise: if you're going to do that, do it the first day you find it, because that was my intent. That was Donna's intent. It's been 4 days.
He's got a new home now.
I think that's called a foster fail.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
He's like, yeah, that's good. You do that. I already found my home. It's cute that you think I'm going anywhere.
Yeah, it's cute. I like that. It's good. He's obedient. He's submissive. He's confident. He's relatively young. Chris says 3, maybe 4, or something like that. He's got no plaque on his teeth at all, which tells me that he's young.
Yeah.
He walks with confidence with his head up, bebopping. Older dogs walk with their head down, kind of slower. He's happy.
Yeah, it's funny too because I've seen him in the same Publix parking lot.
Yep, you sure
just
have.
like a couple weeks ago, and when you brought him in, I asked where you got him if he was a rescue because I thought it was the dog from the Publix parking lot.
That's amazing.
So it's funny. I'm glad you got him because I tried to call him over and pet him too.
Yeah,
and he was interested in something else because I saw him about maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I've seen him a couple times, but so I don't know if his previous owner was somewhere in the area or he just like hangs out at the Publix parking lot because people feed him there.
Yeah,
or what? But yeah, I'm glad he got found.
He got found. So I call my friend Vicky, who is a continuous foster care for dogs, and she has 3 of her own, and she fosters. So has a foster dog. So I called her, and she said, just go to first thing to do is go to any vet. They will scan him for free.
Yeah,
and I didn't scan him until 3 or 4 days, or 3 days afterwards. Look at him. Put that camera on you, Chris. Well, he's already getting down.
No camera.
He scanned, and whenever she came out, she was going to scan him. I found myself praying, "Please don't be a chip. Please don't be a chip. Please don't be a chip." And he's not chipped, so I don't know. And he's still intact.
yeah.
So
He's up here. I'm running the cameras now. Go away.
So to me, a dog that's still intact, roaming on its own in a Publix parking lot, that means they're not being taken care of. Full of fleas, he's got a hot spot on his back. He's just not being cared for. That's the way I see it, and he's being cared for now. I certainly don't think that he's I don't know if somebody's missing him. I don't know.
Right.
I'm looking to see if somebody. I haven't seen any wanted, whatever. Help me find my dog, which I see them often on Facebook and all that stuff. But he's not a big eater, not a big drinker. He hardly ate anything, or he hardly drank. So I know he was drinking something. But when I brought him home, gave him a bath. He slept for at least 3 to 4 hours after I gave him a bath.
Yeah.
Covered him up, dried him. He sat there and he slept for about 3-4 hours straight, and he slept through the night, and even the next day he slept. So to me that tells me he's been out searching. He's been out doing whatever. Yeah, I think he's trying to get sexy with you over there, Chris.
Yeah.
He's getting that position. I've never seen it. Oh yeah. Don't let him do that, please. So. Again, we will.
He really likes Chris.
Yeah, he does for some reason, in a different way. Don't do that. So anyway, I'd like some help getting a name for him. ChatGPT is our friend whenever it comes to anything like this. So let me put some names out there, and we'll.
Yeah, but you can't let ChatGPT name him.
No, I'm getting ideas.
Okay.
I'm getting ideas. What I did is I put in my thoughts, what he looks like, put some pictures in there, and I'm pulling some of the pictures.
How about this?
Okay, I'm listening.
Why don't we do this? I've marked the time when you just asked that.
Okay.
So I'll put it in,
Yep.
and at that time, I'll ask our viewers to name the dog
Okay.
contest.
We can do that. And here are some. These are some highlights. These are some that Donna likes and that I like. Let's see. Okay, here's Donna's top 10. Benny, Henry, Leo, Louie, Max, Oliver, Simon, Teddy, Toby, Victor, or Vic. Now, this is influenced by my input saying I like human names for dogs. We have a cat, Bobby. How Bobby is adjusting is
You
a
don't
different
name
story.
things like Mr. Scruffy Pants? Or
No.
nothing?
Scruffy. No, I don't. So
I like that name. I'm going to
Mr.
adopt that one.
Scruffy Pants.
I'm going to adopt that for me.
Again, we'll go Benny, Henry, Leo. I can put these in there too, I guess, can't you?
When I was a kid, I had a little dog and I named him Ruff.
Like it. That's easy to remember.
Yep.
Louis, Max.
And he knew his own name, too.
Is that right?
Yeah, Ruff.
I wanted. My first suggestion was Ricky. Mm-hmm. Does that mean anything to y'all?
Is that like a Grateful Dead name or something?
No,
I was going to say, did you name him after the lead guitarist of Grateful Dead or something?
no. I don't mind Jerry. I like Jerry.
Uh-huh.
Jerry might be good. We have a cat named Bobby. If you name him
Ricky
Ricky,
Bobby.
we'd have Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
Some reason I went there right at that very moment.
I think that'd be kind of funny. Our niece, our twin niece, has two dogs. One named Happy, one named Camper. She's got a Happy Camper. So I thought Ricky Bobby would be good. Anyway, Bobby's not a fan. Our kitty is not a fan. But
Of course
That'll
not.
change,
I mean,
though.
it's
Yeah.
change.
yeah, and we all know how cats love change.
Oh,
Boy,
yeah.
they are as much as an autistic child, man. They love
Right.
change, change in their routine. They love it. So we're gonna have so much room. So I think what I'm doing with Bobby is I'm putting her living space higher now instead of broader.
Yeah.
Feeding her on a table now, and she can go and she gets in. She can. She's adjusting. She has the garage to herself. She has her bedroom to herself.
How does he do with?
Very interested.
Okay.
Very interested and aggressive looking. If I'm a cat, I'm thinking this dog is aggressive, but he's just going up. He wants to see what she is. You know what I mean? I think if he were able to get close enough, get a good smell, look at her, I think he'd be fine. After
Yeah.
that, I don't think it'd be a big deal. But that has not happened yet. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm letting them get to know themselves on their own in the house. Except for when I'm gone, he's in the bedroom,
Yeah.
closed off, and we have cameras and to look at everything and see how everything goes. Anyway,
Cool.
that's our story, Josh and Chris. I wasn't gonna get a dog. I was gonna get some bananas.
Yeah. It's
No.
funny though how oftentimes the best pets are not ones that we were expecting to get. They're just kind of
Yeah.
bestowed upon
I'll,
us.
I'll agree with that statement.
I don't know that Don and I have ever sought out any pet. Whenever we got married, we had Cooper, my dog. She had Crystal. We got married. We fell in love with those dogs, each of us, and they passed, of course. And that was, gosh, we've been married 27 years. That was 10, 15 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago. And it was such a heartbreak. We just wouldn't get dogs. And then somehow we accumulated cats. At one point, we had 4 inside, 2 outside, and we never sought out one of them.
Yeah.
What they happen. It's the kitty distribution system,
Right.
somehow. But we lost all those.
You were
cats.
targeted.
Yes, we were. We lost all those cats, and we found Bobby at Bob Tyler Toyota in the parking lot,
Oh.
and we found him a couple days ago.
What should this say for you? Don't go to parking lots anywhere
Yep.
ever.
No, even our cat, my wife found it out behind Cordova Mall in a parking lot, and it was a kitten, and it went up to her
Oh goodness gracious!
and basically adopted her on the spot,
Yes.
and she brought it home in a cake box,
I believe it.
and we've had it ever since. And it's been the greatest cat ever. And I'm not. I mean, we've had a bunch of cats, and cats are cool in their own right, but I'm not, necessarily a cat person.
Right?
But he's a really cool. He's a really cool pet,
Excellent.
super
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah.
Pees where he's supposed to, which is awesome. Can't say that for other cats we've had.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, and it, totally wasn't one we expected. I put him up on Facebook when she brought him home and said, I will pay anyone $200 to take this cat.
Did you really?
Yes. And nobody took him.
Oh my gosh!
But I was, we ended up keeping him, named him Shadow, and I was sitting on the floor, and he like climbed up in my lap, and tried to eat a piece of my pizza. So I'm like, okay, this is a cool cat. So we ended up keeping him.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. It will happen.
Yep.
They find you, and you find a little kitty, man. How can you?
Yeah. Yeah, we had another one. We've had a bunch of cats. Our first one was Mama Cat, and she gave us a whole bunch of cats because she had a bunch on board a couple times, and we kept one of the kittens and we named it Spaz, and we had another one named Shadow, and another one showed up. It was an outside cat. I just named him Extra Cat.
Extra cat.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
I like
extra.
that.
And then we had one named Noodles because she tried to eat some pasta that we were having for dinner.
Okay.
So I named her Noodles. Should have named her Piddles because she's the one that peed everywhere. But
Fiddles.
I'm gonna have to bring Lou up here now.
yeah,
You think you should? I think that would be fun to see how they could interact. And I think we're, this is the 5th day I've had him. Having him come in here and greet you two was a big deal because I've never seen him with other people except for Donna.
yeah,
And the way he greeted you two with friendliness and a little bit of apprehension, but after that,
Real
he
friendly
was
with Chris.
Real friendly with Chris. I think he wants you to bring Lou up here too. He smells something really good on him.
Chris will pet you long time.
But to me,
Sorry.
to me, having a dog that will sit at your feet and just be chill while you do a podcast that would be on the wish list for getting a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what he's doing right now.
And that's what he's doing right now, and
Yep.
and I'm happy about that. So, and plus, man, companionship. Oh my gosh, I was telling Donna less than 3 weeks ago. Forgive this self-indulgence is what I'm doing, but less than 3 weeks ago, I looked at Donna and said, kind of went from being alone to being lonely. I just found myself kind of feeling that way lately,
Yeah.
and very cognizant of how blessed I am. But still, sometimes, it just kind of takes you over.
Right.
And it was I was allowing that to happen. And my life has certainly changed since I've gotten him. Not like a cat, cat goes in the bathroom in the box and you clean it up and you sit and you do whatever and you go do it. You don't have to be cognizant of a cat in your house
Yeah.
if you don't want to be, especially if they're somewhat independent and they come to you whenever they want attention, then they go away. Heck, you two could stay in that house for 7 days and not go outside. With him, I'm outside 4 times.
Yeah.
I I walk him 4 times a day. And yes, to think about that before I was doing it, that's not on the checklist.
Yeah.
I do not want to walk around my neighborhood 4 times a day.
Yeah.
But since I've done it, I
You
enjoy
get
it.
a little exercise.
Yeah.
I
Get
mean,
some
okay.
sunlight,
When you had to go up to Atlanta for your thing, I went over and took care of your cat. I never saw the cat.
Yeah.
All I know is I put food out in a spot.
Yeah.
And I came back and some of it was gone.
That's right.
I went and changed the litter box and there was new litter in there.
Yeah.
You know, and I was kind of like,
I know there's a
okay,
cat
I
here
know there's
somewhere.
something here, but it's not. I thought maybe Dexter didn't go to the line and he's actually hiding in the house.
Yeah.
Well, you saw the house with all the clutter. I mean, there's a lot of places for Bobby to be. Bobby saw you every time.
Oh,
You
I'm
know what
sure.
I mean?
He was probably watching me the whole time,
Yeah.
yeah.
But so that's a great example of you just don't have to pay that much attention to a cat. Dog, total different thing. Another thing, cats, and I knew this, but I just forgot about it for not having dogs. One of the funnier things, at least with him, is my older dog Cooper did the same thing. Always looking you in the eye. Always, even if they're okay, they're looking you straight in the eye. Mm-hmm. Straight. Last night I was sitting. I got home late. I didn't eat until after we had Bible study last night. So I got home. I didn't sit down to eat till 9:30. Brought my tray and sat down, and where I was positioned, he couldn't see me. I started eating, and he moved. I saw his little tail moving, and he got to where all he wanted to do is to see my eyes. It didn't matter. So I looked over, and all I could see was about that much. And he was fine, just stared at it. Wasn't begging for food. He doesn't beg for food. He just needs to see. And that it's a little creepy if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Cats will look at you every now and then, but more to say, I just want to make sure you're still here. You want to make sure you're going to bring me food. I want to make sure you bring me water. Right here, it's like I need you to look me in the eye
Right.
to make sure that I'm okay.
To know that you are real.
Right, yeah. Right. And he's got such an expressive face.
We need to see into each other's souls.
I think that's why you fall in love with dogs so
Yeah.
much, because that is the thing, man. You look at, and his eyes can be turned. You know, dogs can turn their eyes just like humans can. Cats can only go sideways just a little bit. I don't know
Yeah.
did y'all know that?
Well,
They have to turn their heads
and dogs'
total.
faces are way more expressive too, because they can like furrow their eyebrows
Yes,
and
yes.
do like cats can't really do that too
Right.
much.
Yeah. When you get to know a cat, though, you can see his expression
yeah.
different. Eyes are a little open. Their tails. That's the tail. The tails. It's all kind of swishy, or tip of it swishing, standing straight up, under, whatever. This little guy, it's all in his eyes and his face.
Speaking of which, the other day, we have this dry food that our cat. I guess we got the wrong flavor of it or whatever, and Shadow, he's not too fond of it. We have this wet food that he is really fond of, and so Deb thought, I'm going to mix the two and see what happens. He ran towards the bowl and started eating, and he like paused, and he looked straight at her, kind of like, you jerk.
You fooled me. You're
tricked me.
trying to fool me. You're trying to fool me.
I'm still going to eat the wet food, but let's let you know, I know what you did, and I'm not happy about it.
That's right. That's funny. Well, Josh, thank you for letting me bring him in.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
And, appreciate that a lot. And he's empty now, so I know he's good to go as far as.
I've always wanted an office dog.
Man, this makes me happy, just seeing him chill out on the floor like that, and he's good with everything. So,
Place I used to work, it was a place where I'd spend half the time in the office, like drafting on the computer or whatever, and then the other half I'd be out in the field, helping pour concrete or whatever, dig footings. And my boss had this big old like chocolate lab or whatever named I think Marlis. That may have been his daughter's name. Anyway, but dog would just follow him around, be
Yeah.
on the job site, find a shady place to lay down. As soon as he, went to a truck, give him a whistle,
yep.
come jump in the truck, go to the
That's
office.
cool.
And sometimes dog would sleep, do this in his office or sometimes my office. And I always thought that's the coolest thing. Just have a cool dog here,
Yeah.
just chilling.
Yeah.
And another boss I worked for, he had a home office, and that's he had built two in-law suites that his neither in-laws wanted to live in, and so he just made them into his like home offices.
Cool.
And so there's three of us who worked for him, and I remember one day, he had these two dogs, big old fat Dalmatian named Moses, and a little bitty like toy poodle named Aaron. So it's Moses and Aaron.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, and like both were hilarious in their own way, But Moses, this big old fat Dalmatian, like just loved when he come up and pet him, would just pee all over the place in excitement. I remember once we were sitting at the computer, and we just hear him in the backyard. And at first, it doesn't really register what's going on, but he's just barking and barking and barking and barking. And once we did notice, we're like, what? Why is this dog? And we'd look out, and he's just like standing in the middle, looking into the woods, just barking. And we're like, what's in the woods? And we couldn't really see anything. And so we asked my boss, I'm like, why is Moses back there barking so much? What is he barking at? He's like, oh, every now and then he'll eat one of those mushrooms in the yard.
No.
He is tripping. He is
Oh, my
hallucinating.
gosh.
And he's barking at whatever he's hallucinating about.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, this dog just became
I did not expect that.
dog.
Oh my gosh. The dog says, hey, put some dead on, will you?
He's on the shrooms.
The fact that he discovered that and that it was just part of that daily life where he wasn't even paying attention to it.
Part of
on
the
the
dog's
Zoom.
identity is he's just a druggie.
We got him in a program.
Yeah.
He's going next week.
He's in that 10-step recovery mushroom program.
He's an outpatient right now, but we're gonna have to.
But the little dog, Aaron, when the family would leave, he would sit on the back of the couch in the living room, look out the window, and just do, and like we're in the other room, and all of a sudden we hear from another part of the house, there's all this groaning and groaning. Like, what is going on? And so we went out there, and this little dog's on the back of the couch looking out the window, just groaning and groaning, because I guess he misses them or something. The dog would just not stop for
Just
hours.
groan. Oh my gosh.
And like we'd try to get him to stop, and he would just get annoyed at our efforts, and we'd come in the next day and he had peed on my computer tower
Oh my gosh.
or something. Like that dog was, I don't know, it was hilarious in a different way, but
That's what I mean. You never know what you're gonna.
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot. It really is. I've got the life to the point where I got it like I like it, but I like some. You know what I mean? The companionship is nice to have.
Right.
But seriously, the overall whining and all that stuff, I just don't. I don't want to deal. I don't want to deal with that. Once you fall in love with something, you'll deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't. I just don't want that. That's going to be an inconvenience, and if I can have everything I want,
Yeah.
that's not what I want. So having the cameras, boy, that's a different deal too. But when we had Cooper and Crystal back in the day, we didn't have in-home cameras.
Right.
So what I learned about him as far as the whining goes, like last night, whenever I came to Bible study here, I didn't bring him, and I knew that he would bark and whine when I closed the door and went out the door. As soon as I close the door, he wants to, he's got a little bit of separation. But it only lasted for a couple minutes.
yeah.
In a couple minutes, he got back on the chair, curled up, went to sleep. Slept for 3 hours. That's a peace of mind for me to know that he's not stressing, you know what I mean?
As long as he knows you're going to come home,
Right.
He's getting used to a routine too.
Yes, that's right, Chris.
So as long as he knows that you're, he's gone, but he comes back.
Yep.
He leaves for a little while, he comes back. I mean, that's what Lou is like at the house. Lou, he's very oriented because they're flock animals, like
Okay.
pack animals. So I like in the morning, I uncovered him this morning. I took him out of his cage. I put him on his travel cage in the living room office where she and I are. He was sitting there. I gave him a little bit of food and water. I left. He looks back. He squawks a little bit, and then, but he knows I'm going to come back when I get home.
You always have come back.
Yeah, so he'll be on my shoulder while I'm editing this video.
Cool.
So
That's quality of life, if you ask me.
well, I mean, I
For
wasn't
us,
anticipating
too,
getting him. I mean, it's my
Yeah.
son had to move; he couldn't take him, and now, honestly, Lou is part of my daily routine.
Sure he is, yeah.
He's like my kid, and he has moods. He gets mad at me some mornings. I didn't give him this or didn't do that. And he'll, do the whole thing. I mean,
That's interesting.
He's like a 5-year-old. He's just
Yeah.
like a,
Okay.
so, and you can't change that.
To me, it's funny how animals can like cut through stuff in our personalities so much because Chris hates people.
He's not a people
Loves
guy.
Lou,
He
right?
sure does.
Love Lou.
You've been approached by people in Publix parking lot, and you've threatened to shoot them.
Yep.
Dog comes along. Hey, want to get in my car?
I know. Oh, it's so funny. I never thought about that.
Looks like both of us need a friend.
One thing I won't do is invite a person that approaches me into my car
Right.
at Publix parking lot. That's so funny. I
But
never
a
thought
little
about
dog
that.
comes along. I'm going to open my door. Hey, come right in.
Come
I
right
will
on in.
take care of you for the rest of your life.
I never thought of that. I don't know what that says about us, Chris, but
But it just goes to that there's still, I think, part of us that desires some type of like camaraderie or friendship or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
And these are very trusting.
yeah.
We know there's no ulterior motive. Like, this dog's not gonna take the bowl of food you give it and go try to trade it for booze or drugs
Right.
or something.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, he's just gonna love you.
You're
That's
right.
all.
That's it.
Now, it might change if he goes outside and starts eating those mushrooms.
That's
Right.
That Dalmatian might.
he was trading dog food for shrooms.
I'll never
He had-
forget
he had-
that story. That's so funny.
He had a side hustle going with the other dogs. Hey, I got some good stuff. you got any sausage or jerky?
That's funny.
Now, I want you to imagine, you talk about that, cows in the field, because I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
I grew. Well, mushrooms kind of tend to spring up where they in the field. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen like 9 or 10 cows in a herd that have gone along grazing and they've eaten those mushrooms? And now you've got a whole herd of cows that are like running
hallucinating
around
different
going.
things.
"Rrr."
Are they zooming around or what are they?
Oh,
just
they're
acting
zooming
differently?
around. If you try to herd them, they look at you. They don't know what, and then they'll. I mean, cows are they're pretty gentle
Yeah. Uh-huh.
in most cases. Mm-hmm. They would charge you.
Is that right? Well, they
The bull,
thought you were
actually,
coming after them.
the bull got high. We had a Jeep. Had a Jeep. He came into the seat. I went over the roll bar out the back. The thing was still rolling. My cousin went out the other side, and the actual Jeep ran into a fence post, and the bull is standing on the front 2 seats of the Jeep, going,
my
"I have
God.
conquered this beast."
It was
And
a
he
bull?
was high as a kite.
my
He was like,
gosh.
he fell 5 or 6 times trying to get up. He fell over into the pond and everything else. And that, when he said that, I'm like, oh my God, I know exactly what he did.
He's on mushrooms.
There's a friend of mine when I was a kid had a mulberry tree in his front yard, and in the summer, mulberries would drop, hit the pavement, and just ferment in the sun.
Those
And-
red bee.
Yeah, the little berries, yeah. And, birds would come and eat them. And one of the funniest things is to see a flock of drunk birds. Just like
Seen that.
stumbling around, trying to take off and just flying right into the house.
Oh my gosh.
The wild cherry trees, they grow, they got the little tiny wild cherry, and they'll ferment. I've seen the birds just sit there and they'll just go bloop, and they'll fall right out of the tree. And won't even open their wings, hit the ground. It's like, yeah.
That's too
Couple
much.
birds off on the other side of the parking lot fighting each other.
Let me tell you something. I didn't do nothing.
I love you, man.
Oh, that's funny. Well, we're glad to have him, and I think we can adopt him as our studio.
Yeah,
puppy now.
our podcast mascot.
Podcast mascot. Sounds good. Josh, man, we had a great Bible study last night at
Yeah.
your office. First time.
Yep.
That was really cool.
Yeah, we did it off site for a week, just because there's some other stuff going on at the church. So we decided to move locations
Yeah.
for a week or two.
J-Dell was here.
Yeah. And Chris was here too.
She brought Chris.
Yep.
That was
so,
cool.
yeah, it is pretty fun.
Kicking
I
and
thought.
screaming on a leash.
Yep.
I was so glad to see that, Chris. It was.
So, yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
We were talking about what was it? Maccabees.
Maccabees,
Or
yeah,
Maccabees.
yeah.
Not-
So we've been doing this little series on this book, or these 2 books of Maccabees, because it's got a lot of historical significance. You know,
it
it's
was
not,
man. It was so good last night.
yeah, and you know it gives us a lot of information about. It's not considered part of the Hebrew Bible,
Right.
But it still has a lot of information about the events that happened between Malachi and Matthew.
It adds color to it.
Yeah, adds color to it, gives you a little bit more insight into the New Testament. One of the things we talked about last night was, so the guy that the book of Maccabees is named after is a guy named Judas Maccabeus, which it means Judah the Hammer, and he was like the military leader. And so last night we started off on at the death of his father Mattathias, and the rise of Judas as like the military leader who led Judea to win a lot of battles against not just the king of the empire that ruled at the time, the Seleucid Empire, under the leadership of a guy named Antiochus IV, but
Those
also
names, such cool names, man.
right. But we talked about how there are other rulers in the area that kind of wanted a piece of him, and he was gaining fame in the area because of all of his military conquests, and all these other nations were coming around. It's like, we don't want this guy, we don't want this little tribe of people to gain power again. Like they had in the past, and so people are just attacking him on all fronts, and he's fighting them all off and being very successful at it, to the point where he was like, inadvertently building a name for himself overall over the entire, across the entire known world at the time, and there's this there's this part that we talked about last night. Kind of like the difference in their views towards the fame that they were getting.
Yeah.
Because Judas had been like continuing in the tradition that his father started, who like on his father's deathbed reminded his fellow Judeans about, like, remember Abraham and Joseph and Moses and Joshua and all these people, these big names from the Old Testament. Like they always followed the one true God, and sure, sometimes times were difficult and things got hard, but God always brought them through it and blessed them for it, and they were better for it in the long run. And he, challenged his fellow Judeans in the same way. Said, there's a lot of pressure on us from Antiochus IV and the other leaders around us to leave the ways that we've been following, since the time of Abraham, forsake the one true God, and sort of assimilate into the religion of the Greeks at the time. Worship of Zeus, and becoming Hellenistic, and all this stuff. And he said, resist the urge to do that. And there were a lot of people who did not resist that urge. He's like running in his sleep now.
Oh, is he?
He's dreaming.
He's sleeping.
It's always funny when you see dogs asleep and
Yeah.
like kicking. But anyway, so Mattathias, he
We need to get a camera for
right.
evidently.
Leave it on this. Y'all talk. Leave it on him.
So Mattathias issued that challenge and reminded them all that stuff. And so Judas continued that, and kept reminding his fellow Jews that we're going to be attacked. We need to fight them off. This isn't something we're doing to try to build a name for ourselves. Like we're trying to stay true to our God and to our laws and to the traditions that are unique to us. And then you see this other guy, one of the enemies of the Jews from Syria. I'm going to try to say his name again. Apollonius.
Apollonius.
Right,
Apollonius.
Apollonius.
That's the traditional name, I guess. It looks.
Yeah.
You could make a case for either one, I think.
Well, you have the Greek god Apollo, and then you have Nias at the end of it.
There you go.
So Apollonius.
Apollonius.
Apollo.
You do have, it's funny that you have a hard time with that.
Yeah, I don't know why I have a hard time with that because I always want to say Apollonius.
Okay. Gotcha. Right.
And it's probably Apollonius. I don't really know. It's funny because like when you're preparing and you're reading and you're doing the lessons and all this
George.
stuff. Yeah. Like
Right. You think of that.
George.
Bob. This is Bob.
these are letters that I see and a name that I read in my mind. But what happened last night is when I was teaching it, it was the first time I had said that name out loud.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And immediately it was like my brain short circuited because I don't know
Right.
how to pronounce this name out loud. I've just been
Gotcha.
treating it as that's this guy, you know.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Which is another thing. So total sidetrack.
Which is something we never do. We never
Right.
sidetrack.
I've been asked this question by my wife and daughter recently,
Okay.
and I'm interested in other people. So, when you're just in your own head thinking, do you have a conversation with yourself, or is it like just abstract thoughts?
Conversation.
Okay, what about you?
Generally, it's somewhat abstract thoughts. I'm seeing imagery, or I'm
See,
you know,
that's how I am.
Nice.
I don't have a
Okay.
conversation in my head. It's just like the example I gave my wife and daughter is like, if I'm thinking I have to do the laundry, in my brain, I'm not thinking I have to do the laundry.
exactly.
I just picture laundry basket,
Okay.
washing machine,
Interesting.
that kind of stuff.
Very
So I'm not
interesting.
having conversations in my head.
Okay.
It's more like just flashing of
It's
symbols.
remembering. Okay, put soap, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Pictures.
say I've got to go to the whatever, or do this, that. You know, JDL.
Interesting.
It's like when I'm trying to build something. I don't have the conversation about I need to connect this 2x4 to this or that or whatever. I see the imagery and what I want in my head. You know, or I see an angle
that.
or something in the mathematics. I see that angle.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You know, and that's I guess that's our weird engineering brain.
Maybe it is. Maybe
Yeah.
it is. Donna thinks in spreadsheets.
Okay.
That's how. If you know that and you talk to her, you can see it.
Right.
You can see she's just going down the rows and the
Rows
columns.
in the columns.
That's the way
and
she
hits,
thinks.
It hits the cells.
And once you know that, you can really communicate with somebody a lot more effective.
Yeah.
Both expressive and receptive. It's a lot easier. Once I realized that, I'm like, man, that makes sense.
Right.
It really does. But anyway, great
Well,
question.
My daughter also, because I'm horrible with names and the Apollonius or whatever, and like when I'm talking about like say Moses in the Bible, half the time I'll say Noah, or instead of Moses, or instead of
in your head, you're saying?
no, like when I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
And
When
the
you're
exception
talking.
to the abstract thought thing in my head is sometimes I am having word conversations, but it's usually when I'm trying to like practice how I'm going to explain something to
Gotcha.
someone else.
Right.
When it's just me in here,
yeah.
it's just abstract thoughts
Yeah, gotcha.
and pictures
Okay.
and stuff.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I'll be talking about Noah and I'll say Moses, or I'll
Mm-hmm.
be talking about Jacob and I'll accidentally say Joseph or Joshua or something like that. And I often do that with names. And my daughter asked, she's like, do you think the reason you're bad with names is because you don't think in words, you think in abstract thoughts? Like I'm not thinking Joseph.
Imagery.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
thinking Joseph like Joseph. I'm thinking of the concept of Joseph.
Or a picture of Joseph.
Yeah, or a picture
right?
of Joseph or something like that. And so, like, same as Apollonius, when I'm reading that, I'm not having the conversation and saying the word Apollonius in my head, or Apollonius, or whatever it is. I'm just seeing that as this is the symbol that represents this person.
Okay, question for
Very
you
good.
then. It'll relate back to me then. Okay, when you meet somebody, George, Sam, Bill, whatever, okay, you've met this person. The face registers in my head forever, basically.
Yes.
I know that person.
Yes, the name doesn't.
The name does okay. The name
Yes.
does not register in my. If I see you on a regular basis, that's Destry, that's Josh.
Yeah,
20 years pass by, I'd be like, I know that person.
Yeah. I should know his name, but I don't.
Was it Fred or was it Sally or what? You know.
well,
and
for
that's
like the
bad.
first 2 years of Gun Club, I had no idea what your name was.
Is that right?
Yes. but I knew who you were.
right. I think it
weird
starts
guy.
with a D. I think it starts with a D. I'm not.
Yeah, and,
right?
you know,
That's
every
what I
time I
usually
hear
get.
him, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Right, yeah,
and then it's gone.
Right,
You
yeah,
know? But I
fair.
knew who you were.
Right.
And that's and I even like whenever I teach a class at like UWF or something,
Mm-hmm.
I always tell my students like two things. One is like, I'm horrible at names. Please don't take that personally.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't interact with you a lot, or you don't interact with me a lot, I'm never going to know your name. But I'm going to know I'm going to recognize who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm not going to know your name.
Right.
And also, like, if you happen to see me around town and say hi, and I have no idea who you are, it's because I'm not seeing you in the normal context I'm used to seeing you.
Exactly.
And
I have that.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, apparently I know this person, but I don't know
Right.
this person in Publix.
Yes.
I know them
yes.
in the classroom at UWF. And so it takes me a while to like connect those dots, like, oh, this is the same person as that over there.
Well, whenever you're a teacher or instructor, I could see how that would be normal.
Right.
You've got 30, 60 people looking at you so many minutes a day,
Yeah.
soaking in your voice, soaking in what
They
you
all
look
know
like.
me, but I don't know them.
And then you've got all these that you're skimming. You know, you're skimming, you're looking. There's no way that you're going to be able to, unless you
Yeah.
had some type of exceptional.
And sometimes I'll get a call
Recognition.
from from a new client or something. They're like, hey, yeah, so and so recommended, gave me your contact info and recommended you. I'm like, I have
Great.
no idea who that is. But if we were all standing there, I'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
I know who you
yeah,
are.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
right,
because
right,
the
right.
face would stick, but not
Right.
not the letters that comprise their name.
Sure.
Yeah, it also too depends on the interaction that you have with the person. A person that you have a casual, normal interaction with, you may not. Now, a person you have rather either a confrontational, you know, you remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I ran into that years ago where I was being chewed out by an admiral because of something we did at the museum. Wasn't happy. I pulled out the notes. Goes. And I said a few choice words back to him. He ran away mad. He came back to me and apologized. But what was funny was he would see me in like a Walmart or whatever store and say hey to me because he remembered me and I remembered him. That was an interaction that was hostile.
Yeah.
But had that not happened, I would have
Right.
not picked him out from anybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That makes sense. Anyway.
Something my wife still brings up to this day. When we were first, like, I can't remember. I don't think we were dating yet, but we were close to it. She called me up, and her name is Debbie, and I answered the phone like, "Hey, Becky,"
And she's like, what?
right? Which
Wait.
was another girl that I knew. I wasn't
boy.
dating the other girl, as whatever. I may have been talking to her, previously that day as well. But yeah, my wife still brings that up.
She still brings it up.
Becky, huh?
Remember, they don't ever forget those things.
Right. So anyway, Apollonius.
Back to Apollonius.
So he was one of the enemies of the Jews of Judea, and in First Maccabees it tells us like he saw all this fighting going on. He thought, it would be cool if I attacked them, and I actually defeated Judas, this like super famous, super successful captain of the Judean army
Yeah.
who's beating everybody. It'd be cool if I beat him because then I could make a name for myself.
He's taking on the heavyweight champion.
Right, and so he, it's funny because the irony of that, because like almost immediately in the next verse it says, and he wasn't successful, and he didn't do that at all.
Right.
And in fact, it was Judas Maccabeus that actually got even more super famous because he defeated this guy, and so. You see kind of like that juxtaposition of two views. Like, we're going to do this because we want to follow our laws and follow the one true God and be faithful and loyal to Him. And as a result of that, God ends up fighting battles for them and helping them and strengthening them, and their fame grows regardless. And then you see the opposite of like, hey, we want to go do this because we want to make a name for ourselves, and they're unsuccessful. And we're going to see later in Maccabees, kind of a spoiler alert, later on, there's some other Jews that are like, oh man, Judah the Hammer, man, he's awesome. He's like getting super famous. We want to do the same thing. And these are Jews, and they go and start to try to fight the enemy, and they just the enemy wipes the floor with them. and they get killed, and nobody knows who they are. I don't even think it even says their name in that. It may mention it, but I forget. But regardless, not anything that sticks in your memory.
So I liken this to sports. Anything from cycling to basketball. You work the program. If you're employed or even just recruited for a sports team, you've got to buy into. In order to be successful in that system, you buy into that team. The training, what happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, determines if you're going to win on Saturday.
Right.
If you're thinking about the win on Saturday on these days prior, you can use it as a motivation. But if it's your main priority and you skip the other parts, that's not going to happen. But if you like at Alabama, my gosh. Whenever what's his name was there, they had a system that if you bought into that system, chances are really good that you're going to be successful. But you forget about that and you give everything to the system.
Yeah.
But if you just go in there in order to be successful, it may not work out as well for you. Same with these guys. Right? This guy wanted to beat him because he wanted to make a name for himself.
Right.
The other ones.
Yeah, and it's kind of goes back to that verse in Proverbs. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall.
Yeah.
Kind of the same idea. But then, so as Judas is like defeating the enemies that keep trying to attack them, the main king Antiochus IV, he decides, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepay my military a year in advance because I'm going to and tell them, like, at some point I'm going to call on you and we're going to go and attack these people, but I need you to just be ready. So here's a year's salary in advance. Just wait and be ready. And then because he ran out of money, he goes over to Persia, the old capital of the Median Empire, Ecbatana, and one of the capitals of the Persian Empire, Persepolis. And he's like, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to raid their treasury, and I'm going to get more money because they owe me anyway. We've conquered them a long time ago, and so I'm going to go and collect tribute. We'll get some more money, come back, we'll regroup, and we'll attack. And so he split his army in two and gave half of the army to one of his generals, Lysias, and said, hey, while I'm gone, keep attacking Judah, defeat them, do whatever you can. I'm going to go over to Persia, get some more money, and come back. And during that time, Lysias, he tries to attack, gets defeated, runs back up to Antioch, and starts like just recruiting random people. Like, hey, you're in the military now. We need more people to go back and attack again. During that downtime, we see this major event happen, which is so significant in not just the history of Israel, but ends up becoming this thing that the entire world knows about. Judas says, hey, while Lysias is gone, we're gonna split up. Half of us are gonna keep fighting. The other half, we're gonna go to the temple and we're going to cleanse it, rededicate it, and start using it again. Because remember, a long time ago, Antiochus IV came and he was trying to force people to become Greek and assimilate into the Greek religion. He set up a temple. I think it's a statue to Zeus, and started sacrificing in the Jewish temple. Actually sacrificed a pig on there, which was like total desecration of the whole place. And so it got abandoned. The courts were overgrown. It was just in general in a state of disrepair, not being used. And so Judas, he said, we need to rectify that situation. So while Lysias is gone, some of us are going to stand guard and fight if need be. The rest of us are going to go to the temple and cleanse it. And so it would take 8 days to do that. And part of that was, the candlestick that, it's called the menorah. The candlestick that was in the temple was supposed to remain lit at all times. And it was not a candle like a wax candle. It was like a lamp stand.
Oil.
Oil, yeah. That was the fuel that was used, and it was oil. And not just any oil, but a specific, I think, olive oil that had been gone through a process to be used specifically for this lamp. And it took 8 days to do that. So they only had enough oil for one day. And so they lit it, and they started the process. And later we read in rabbinical tradition that one day of oil lasted miraculously for 8 days while they were rededicating, or like cleaning and rededicating and cleansing the temple. And so that miracle became a focal point, and that rededication and cleansing of the temple became this focal point that Judas Maccabeus, after it was done, told everyone, he's like, this is important. We need to remember this. And so every year at this time, and I think it's the 25th day of the Jewish month of Kislev, he said, every year we're going to have an 8-day celebration that commemorates what we just did here, throwing off the Seleucids that were ruling us, and cleansing the temple from the evil that they did here, rededicating it, and starting to use it again. And so that's where we get the tradition of Hanukkah, because it's that's why you have the menorah and you have the 8-day lighting ceremony and all that kind of stuff, is because it's commemorating that. It's called the Feast of Dedication. Later, over in the New Testament, in John 10, we encounter Jesus, who it says that Jesus was in Jerusalem, and it was during the winter, and it was the time of the Feast of the Dedication. And if you don't know what happened in these two apocryphal books, you don't know what that's referring to. Yeah. He was there because that was a yearly celebration. Now was that celebration to commemorate, to memorialize what happened in the book of Maccabees. So here again, we don't, as Protestants, we don't consider Maccabees as being part of the canon of Scripture. But it has so much history that if you don't read it, there's certain things in the New Testament that you kind of miss out on, because you don't realize what was going on between the times of Malachi and John the Baptist. Another interesting thing from Maccabees is when they were cleansing the temple, the altar that had been used to sacrifice that pig, like, it was desecrated.
Of course.
And it was tainted. And they're like, well, what do we do with this? And so, they couldn't just, they thought, well, we can't just like reuse it because it was used for this really evil thing, but also we can't just like destroy it and throw it away because it was used for centuries as the place of sacrifice, legitimately. And
it's
so
got historical value, but you can't use it for that anymore.
Right. And so they're like, well, we don't know what to do with it. So we're just going to disassemble this altar. We'll leave the stones in a convenient place and until a prophet comes and tells us what to do with it.
At a time where there were no prophets.
At a time where there are no prophets. And I think that's interesting because, this intertestamental period, it was different than the time of the Old Testament because God wasn't interacting with Israel the way he did in the Old Testament through prophets or through direct revelation or whatever. And that's reflected at certain times in Maccabees because they're like, there's no prophet around to tell us what God wants us to do. So we're just gonna leave this here and wait for a prophet to come, because they had, in the Old Testament, like the last two books of the Old Testament, Zechariah and Malachi, God indicates to them that a prophet is going to come at some time in the future. And in the book of Daniel, it kind of gives that intertestamental period in advance, like there's going to be a world leader that comes and he's going to conquer everything, and then his empire is going to split into four, and we have this whole thing, and it stops at Antiochus IV. So like they had knowledge in advance of the types of events that were going to happen during that period, but God wasn't directly interacting with them, like with prophets or whatever. And so because of because of that, they didn't know what to do with these stones, but they also had a promise that a prophet was going to come, because the Old Testament talks, Zechariah and Malachi allude to the coming of John the Baptist as like, this is the next prophet that's going to come, who's going to be the like front man for Jesus. He's going to introduce Jesus to you.
He's the intro man.
Yeah, he's the intro man.
Are y'all ready?
Got a really great act following me.
Give it up for old JC.
Yep. And so, so they knew he was going to come, because they were, there was a prophecy about a prophet who was going to come in like the style of, or whatever, the tradition of Elijah. And that's why the New Testament, when asked about John the Baptist, like, are you Elijah? Like reincarnated? Because they knew the whole time there was a prophet was going to come. He just hadn't come yet. And so we'll put these stones aside. We'll wait for a prophet to come and tell us what to do with them. Just ended up, Jerusalem got destroyed, and no one knows what happened to those stones.
I was going to ask you, do we know what happened to those stones? Okay.
Nope.
Right.
They never got the answer to it that we know of.
Okay.
But Jerusalem eventually got destroyed. So if
What
the
an archaeologist
prophecy,
will find, huh? I'm sorry, I
right?
didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I mean, if the prophecy was, one stone will not be left on the other, on another,
Yeah, right.
then, a pile of old stones would be included in that. And so
Sure.
they exist somewhere, but nobody knows what they
What
are.
a find.
Right?
Man.
That would be cool to find.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd prove it.
How you
I
would
don't-
identify it. Yeah, because they're supposed to be stones that weren't touched by a chisel or anything.
Wow.
Unhewn stones. So it's
Oh,
not
is
like
that
they would
right?
be like cylinders or
Oh, okay. Okay.
perfect cubes or anything. They would just be
Right.
regular old rocks.
And we don't know how big. We talked about it last night.
Yeah.
It doesn't give us any indication of that.
Right.
But you can guess if things are sacrificed on it, if lambs were, it has to be so big.
Right.
We don't know how much bigger it is than what's needed, but
Yeah, we have some like clues we can use to infer how
Right.
big it was, but we don't. Right. But anyway, so it was a lot of fun last night going over all that stuff.
what I liked about it was the wordsmith. We don't know who wrote the book of Maccabees, but it was almost like the New King James in a way. It was easy to read, but it was not everyday language like we know now. But in the person who wrote it used some really great verbiage, I thought.
Yes.
Really great verbiage. Really colorful language.
Yep.
So
So the funny thing about that, Second Maccabees is kind of like commentary on the First Maccabees. It's not a sequel.
yes.
And in Second Maccabees, before it starts getting into like the meat of the book, there's a whole chapter that is kind of like the intro to Second Maccabees. It said, "Look, there's a ton of stuff that happened, and there's not enough room to write all of the things that happened, and so there's this huge task of abridging it, and that's no small task, but it was a task worth taking. So we took on that task and wrote the events of it in an abridged form, and that's kind of like the intro to Second Maccabees.
Yeah.
And so I think is funny. Like they talk about the process of like condensing a lot of events into, I think, 15 chapters of First Maccabees.
Wow. Okay.
And the challenge it was.
I just regret so much in my past not knowing and learning about these books. Regret's not the right word, but I'm just thankful now that we are learning, that you're teaching us about these not tertiary, but these books that help enhance the Bible. I mean, I've never read anything that happened in between the silent years, and this is what we're reading. It's awesome, man. It really is.
It was never taught when I was in school. I mean, and that was not even spoken of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you'd heard of Hanukkah, yes,
Right.
but didn't know where it came from.
Right.
It was just something that the Jews did.
Right.
But that's the thing. History is highly important, and because a particular religion or sect chooses not to listen to it or hear it. Doesn't mean it's not true.
Right.
It's just they just don't want to adopt that thinking.
Yeah.
It takes a deep dive, no pun intended,
Actually,
to make it to make it realistic or make
what
it
if you
appropriate,
took
perhaps.
Maccabees and you ran it through a Chat GPT to translate it from that King James version sort of language? I wonder if has that been done? To translate.
Oh, so yeah, the book of Maccabees was originally written in Greek. And so it's been translated into a bunch of different languages. And like the version that we were reading last night is considered the King James version of the book of Maccabees. But there are already other versions. Like I think there's an NIV version of it and an NASB version of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you get those at Bible stores?
Oh yeah, it's part of the Catholic Bible.
Okay.
It's so we talk about canon of Scripture. Maccabees and the other books that are considered like the Apocrypha, its official name is Deuterocanon, which means second canon.
Okay.
And so in Catholic and Orthodox Bibles, it's included in those as canon of Scripture. But in Protestant, it's not considered part of the Hebrew Bible because the Hebrew people didn't consider it part of the. So there's a Hebrew word called the Tanakh, which is like a combination of three words: Torah, the writings, and the prophets.
Okay.
And so it's like the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, the writings, stuff like Psalms, Proverbs, Job, that kind of stuff, and then prophets, obviously like Isaiah, Jeremiah, those things. And so that's called the Tanakh. What's not part of the Tanakh are the deuterocanonical books, like Tobit, Esdras, Wisdom of Sirach, First and Second Maccabees, things like that. Those were considered second to those. But there's a lot of history in them that's important. Like, I'm focusing on Maccabees right now because when you get to the New Testament, we encounter Pharisees and Sadducees a lot. If you want to know where they came from, read the book of Maccabees. If you want to know, Herod was an Idumean, which is a Greek term for he was from Edom. Edom were the Edomites were the descendants of Esau. If you want to know why the Idumeans hated the Jews so much, read the book of Maccabees. Read Josephus' Wars of the Jews, Antiquities of the Jews. If you want to know why so many people in the New Testament were named Judas, read Maccabees. Like that, he was the hero that threw off the evil Greeks, and so people kept naming their kids Judas or Jude or Judah. There's just all kinds of things like that where if you want, like I said, if you want in John 10. If you want to know why Jesus was in Jerusalem in the winter during the Feast of Dedication, if you want to know what that was, read Maccabees. And so there's a lot of stuff that we encounter in the New Testament that if you don't know the history of the Jews between Malachi and Matthew, it doesn't really make a lot of sense in the New Testament. So that's really what the only reason we're doing this is so that we get better insight into the canon of Scripture by reading these historical references.
So learning about Hanukkah, I think it's a good example of not something that we do, but we hear about it so much, and we want to honor that for people that do celebrate that. I don't want to have a fight with you don't want to have a fight with someone. That's fine. You do that. That's fine. We want to honor that.
Yeah,
we
there's nothing wrong with memorializing a significant event that happened in your own life or in the history of your people.
Here's my question. I'd like to learn about Festivus.
Okay. With the airing your grievances and
I'd like to find out more about that. It doesn't matter if it's canon if it's the original. I'd like to learn where it came from, who continues to celebrate it.
Right. We'll put up a Festivus poll?
Festivus poll. For the rest of us.
Yes.
A Festivus for the rest of us. I'd like to do that. Maybe Chris and I can get that together, and we'll present it to you. If you
I feel like if we're going to start airing grievances, though, that's going to go for a while.
We might want to start that in the new year. Just
January the 2nd at 3:07 p.m. So-and-so did so-and-so.
was such a genius show, man.
Right.
It was such a genius show. It really was.
Well, today was fun. I like that we had a special guest.
Me too. He has settled in quite well.
Yep.
Scratching a little. He's still got. I defleed him several times, and he's still scratching a little bit. But sleeping and looking and having a good time sitting right. He's actually sitting right in between you and I,
Yep.
as the guest would. But guys, thank you very much. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. And thank you, Josh. Bible study is really good. And I want to send a special shout out to Matt in our class. Matt has a medical thing that he's going to find out today if there's something else he needs to do.
Yeah.
And he's going to text me later today. And Matt's I consider him a really, really close friend. And so we're praying for Matt for sure. And Lee, their baby, Lee and Jonathan's baby,
Melissa,
is that who it is? Melissa.
or Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah,
I think
there you
Michelle. The high risk pregnancy, and they're getting closer. She's getting closer to giving birth, and she goes to the doctor and everything. We're praying for you, Lee, as well. Lee and Jonathan are avid listeners and members of our gun club, and
2 of our 3.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
2 of the 3. But we appreciate them, and they're a fun couple, and we're just happy they're part of it. And we are praying for you and your baby. Can't wait to meet Melissa. Michelle.
Fred.
Bob. I don't know.
See, it's that same thing. Like,
I know, right?
yeah, the abstract symbol is there in my brain, but I'm just horrible with names.
All right. We love you, Donna. I love you, and we'll see y'all soon. Thanks. Bye.